Hello everybody! We are back once again. I've been reading the chat since the stream started. It's been very entertaining. It's too bad Sniff couldn't join us. He seemed interested in Graycove stuff. So anyways, like I said earlier in the chat, I did actually put in Hazel's Tale. I did that after the last stream, I think the day after, because it bugged me that she didn't have one. So like, it looks fine. It's basically just an oval on her butt, you know? Nothing too crazy. But I was thinking for today, we're going to start cleaning up Griff's walk cycle. So basically just refining a lot of those lines, getting rid of the sketchiness. You know, really getting it down pat, and then if we can finish this up tonight, which shouldn't be too crazy or too hard to do, then we're gonna start on line art and maybe even coloring. So I got his color palette on the side here. Thankfully it's literally 3 colors and line art color, so that's nice and easy. So yeah, I guess let's just hop into it. I was working on it earlier today and I put in his patterns on his fur here, and I fixed up his ears because they were kind of bothering me. And yeah, the ones I saw everyone in the post really wanted to see the animation and not coloring. Then I stopped what I was doing, so I was like, maybe I should leave some of this for tonight. Actually, do you think Graycove has a market for shed fluff? I don't think the real world equivalent of that is a prevalent market, but it might be in Marshall's fantasy world. I think they would still have a market for like wool and stuff like that, so like I guess sheep characters would do it themselves. I haven't actually put that much thought into it. I don't know if they would want to keep shed fur. I think they would just kind of want to get rid of it, or maybe give it to their birds, chickens, emus, whatever, for nests. More coffee money, a sacrifice. Awesome, thanks Lando as always. It is always appreciated. Yeah, let's just hop right in. This one is a little bit trickier. We can't really use the onion skin because it makes it so hard to look at, more than usual. So we're really just going over the original drawings and just cleaning them up, you know, making them a little bit prettier. Lando, it's been 2 minutes, bro. Yeah, you really don't. You don't wait to see if it's gonna be a good stream or not. But yeah, it's always appreciated. Thank you very much. Yeah, he really wants to get a jump on that #1 spot. Oof. Cleaning up, I immediately make a mess. There we go. That's a bit better. Thankfully, Griff's design isn't too complicated, so even putting in, you know, like the stripes and stuff on his back wasn't too hard. I'm really dreading doing Hazel's spots. I think that's gonna be an off-stream animation process, so you guys can't hear me losing my temper at it. Norse horse, distinctly not a bear pelt. Yeah, the pelt that the matriarch wears is not a bear pelt. I tried showing the tail of it on one of the, I think it was the last page that went up, where she's sitting on her throne. You can kind of see a tail peeking out. It's supposed to be a lion. What about Hazel's tail? Hazel's tail is here. I put it in. It looks fine. It's not amazing. It's an oval on her butt, like I said. Or I guess more of an egg shape. So yeah, when we go in later, we'll probably add like that extra little side fluff that it has sometimes. Try and make it look a little bit nicer. Yeah, wait, Dr. Dro listed the pelts on the Matriarch's throne in the wiki as other hyena pelts. Is that canon? Yes, it is. Those are all hyena pelts. So, all of them would come from other people trying, or other hyenas I should say, trying to fight for the matriarch's position. Being as they are a very warrior-centric group. Yeah, I tried to make the throne pelts kind of obvious. I don't mind giving that information away. Some of them turned out maybe a little too striper. There are too many stripy ones. Where most of them probably should have been spotted hyenas, but oh well. Just something to maybe update or change later when I go back and fix some of the pages. I have a huge Google document that's just things you messed up on Graycove pages, go fix later. Give him some fingers here so he's not just walking around with mitten hands. Hey Alexander, thanks for joining us. Thankfully this one's pretty easy to clean up. It was already pretty clean, but you know, some of them are really rough, like this sketch behind here. But yeah, this one's already pretty smoothed out, so it's not too bad. Seeming a bit taller on this one. Which one is this? Okay, he's right in the middle. Okay, so belly pad should be about here. I got some of them wrong, so I've been fixing them as I go along. Hopefully they won't be all messed up by the end, but I think it'll be okay. Oops. I can never do this with my characters. I'd be lucky enough to make short comics. Honestly, short comics, that's a wonderful way to start. That's what I started with. I had a previous, I had a previous webcomic called The Misadventures of Fia, and that one, it never really went anywhere. It was just little 4-panel comics, but it was a really great way to get into it and get some practice and learn more about using the digital art programs that I was using for it. So you know, that's a wonderful starting point. Nothing wrong with that. And like doing big projects, like Graycove is, can be very overwhelming. So those, you know, shorter ones or just little comics can be a lot more relaxing to work on. Yeah, my comic, which I'm thinking I might start posting this weekend, is nowhere near as good as this. like I said, it just takes time and practice, you know? I look back on my Misadventures of Fia one and get genuinely embarrassed by how rough all of the drawings were and like how little effort I put into some of them, or just really silly mistakes that I made on them. But like I said, it's a wonderful starting point. It gets you in the mindset to work on them, on how to use different programs, posting, and like the rules of Webtoon, all of that kind of stuff, because you need specific ratios for everything. And that really confused me at first when I started posting that one, and I was making them in like a really silly way. So yeah, just honestly jump right in with posting and keep it up. Keep working on it. It's a good way to keep yourself going. Hey, I mean, all hail real art. Heck yeah, man. Any art that's not AI art is good in my books. The problem with mine is they're all drawn in pencil and they're scanned as PDFs, and I don't have the patience to be individual panels, so it'll be like just the whole page at once. Hey, fair enough, man. Either way, that's a wonderful starting point, and like you might decide later that you want to do them differently, or you might want to start, you know, you finally have the patience to put in more effort and do it in a harder way or more detailed, whatever is your prerogative. You gotta start somewhere though. I would suggest we don't call AI generated images art, just AI generated images. Yeah, I'm with you. Calling them art is an insult to the artists that worked on the original images that it stole from. I think this was a couple months ago now, I can't remember exactly when it happened, but I did find one person who was putting some of the like YouTube short pictures into an AI generator to create their own OCs and stuff, and like if it was just for personal use, whatever, don't post it online, do whatever you want. I can't really stop people from doing that, but the fact that they were posting it and trying to promote it made me so upset. Like, I was enraged for days. Oh, this still doesn't have any fluffs on it. That sounds quite demoralizing. On C, there's a hazel bot somebody made. Yeah, I saw a couple of different bots. It looked like they were for like voice lines and stuff, not like generating images. I'm not 100% sure. I was really confused by it, to be honest. But yeah, just as a general rule, if you're wondering my opinion on it, I'd rather you didn't put any of my stuff through AI generators. Don't care for it. Obviously I can't stop anyone, but... Don't think we can see the belly patch at all here, so let's skip over that part. Yeah, not looking too bad so far. Smooth wolf boy. Yeah, we're trying to smooth him out. We're not quite at the line art stage yet, but we're getting pretty close. So long as I can clean all this up and I don't see any major issues with it, then we can probably skip on ahead to the line art. Whoop. Don't know how I did that. Such elegance, yes. Well, here's hoping. Elegance is the vibe. Pretty sure there's a Griff AI chatbot also. Yeah, I think that's the one I saw originally. Which honestly, it came out so soon after the webcomic had just started. I was like, I don't even know what you're getting the character to say. We've barely seen the character yet. Yeah, exactly, which is weird when it came out like 3 chapters ago, because he only has like 4 lines. You're only seeing a very, very small amount of his personality, which isn't even a real good comparison of his actual personality, because it's in the middle of a very stressful event. Now I want to see my boy Griff in a dapper suit and tie. Maybe someday. Maybe during the comic at some point they'll go to like a mall and have a fashion show of clothes Hazel can't fit. Russell only wearing toddler clothing. Real Griff is still yet to be revealed. I was wondering, does YouTube take a stake of money from super chats? I don't think so. I don't know. They take a tax off of everything once, like at the end of the month before I get paid. So at the moment, because I'm a Canadian creator and YouTube is an American website, they take a 30% tax, which is ridiculous. So I'm currently in the process of trying to get a US tax number as a non-US resident, which is a whole process that is really annoying. So hopefully they don't take any percentage of the super chats. And if they do, I will eventually be getting it back because I'm going through this whole process and yeah. So hopefully we should be getting it back. Because once you have the US tax number, I believe that 30% tax should go down to 0. We need Russell mocking Griff wearing a guard's outfit. You're Canadian? Yes. Yep, we are Canadian. Are the characters in Graycove aware of what humans look like when they still existed? I don't know if that would be a spoiler. I think a lot of the people in Graycove, if they're like Griff and they haven't really traveled very far outside of Graycove, then I think they wouldn't know. But for characters like Russell and Hazel, where they've gone many, many times and have gone exploring and stuff like that, I think they would know because of like seeing billboards, pictures, photographs, anything like that. Yeah, like Hazel has a mannequin in her room. She would have taken that from the store, you know, somewhere. So yeah, I don't think all characters would know. I don't think Griff would necessarily know. But a bunch would. It just depends on the character, you know? They're the witches of their time. Hey guys, look, we found this thing that you can say back what we say into it. Witch! Spawns, Doom, Space Marine, and Graycove. Back to when the stream started, I really like where he ended up with Russell's walk cycle and his tail. Thank you. I still have some things I really want to adjust with his walk cycle and try to fix. Those are probably going to be off-stream edits because you guys probably don't want to watch me fight with it again for like an hour. But yeah, hopefully it won't be too hard to clean up. When I left last time, I think you were trying to get it to where you liked it. Wouldn't it be interesting if animals had myths and stories about drifting stars, satellites and stuff? They didn't realize what they are. We did have a conversation about like space related conversations and like what they would think about the universe and how it works versus what information they could potentially find. So that'll be a fun theme to look at in the future. That's not going to be for quite a while, unfortunately, because most of the first story arc that we're doing is going to be based around Graycove. Regardless, they all look really great so far. Thank you! Because you only get like $3 from this, now I have enough for Starbucks coffee. 60% taxes from YouTube and iOS is stupid. Well, thank you, we appreciate it. We can always use a good cup of coffee. The idea that we're in a universe and not a world with the sky would feel so dystopian. Yeah, I had a funny scene in mind, or a short in mind I should say, using an audio clip from Malcolm in the Middle, where I think it's Reese's character, they're watching something on the television about space, and they mention how like acceleration or something like that, like being an object moving really fast, and Reese says something like, well, that doesn't work because like they would die if they went that fast, or something along those lines. And Malcolm went on to explain just how fast the planet Earth is moving throughout the universe at any point in time, and the fact that, you know, you can't feel it because that's just the speed that is constantly going at. You don't feel the acceleration, anything like that. And him just sinking further into the couch and kind of freaking out, and I was picturing Griff doing that, and I thought it would be so funny. Russell finds explosives and launches himself to space. Yeah, that would be really funny. He is definitely a character who should not be allowed to have explosives.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not. I didn't realize Hazel's family is not from Graycove. Yeah, I don't know how much we talk about it in the actual webcomic. I think it has been hinted in like the shorts and everything, and like later on, I think next chapter, we're gonna be exploring a little bit more of like how Russell joined the family and everything like that. But yes, they're not originally from Graycove. They lived nomadically while Daisy was still alive. Which is why for some of those shorts you can see them like traveling around with like a little cart. Next one. Just a couple more to go. I had that thought too, how they came to have Russell and their family. Yeah, we're gonna be exploring that a little bit next chapter. I'm really looking forward to it. Are all the shorts canon? No, not all of them. A good majority of them, they're good ways for me to kind of explore their different personalities. While just kind of, you know, having fun with it and making funny little shorts. So yeah, you shouldn't consider them too canon. Some of them are, some of them aren't. It's best to go off of the webcomic if you're not sure. Yeah, it's kind of like what Jasper just said. They're kind of pseudo-canon, where I try to follow, you know, their personalities and how they would react in a situation. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that individual interaction actually ever happens. So, like, ones where Hazel is, like, threatening people or beating people up because they're being mean to Russell, that definitely would happen, and is something that she would have done in the past. And would still do, let's be real. But we haven't actually seen her do that in the webcomic. And I don't know if or when that is gonna happen. Really like your keep up the good work. Thank you. How about Russell being taped to a wall? I did draw that outside of the shorts. That was just for fun. But yes, she would tape him to a wall if she got annoyed enough. Yeah, that one wasn't a short. That was just a separate sketch I did where I was kind of... I think I was looking at different, like, meme photographs, or just, like, funny, like, draw this with your characters kind of photos, and I was like, oh, that looks kind of fun. So I did, like, a whole page spread of them with just the Red Deer family. Did humanity die in a nuclear winter? I cannot tell you because that would be a spoiler. It will eventually be revealed as the series progresses. I'm not sure exactly when. yeah, that's a big spoiler, so can't tell ya. Oops. Bad habit, can't do that. If there was a Tales from Graycove TV show, who would cast as the voice of the two main characters? That's a really good question, and I'm not entirely sure. I use a lot of clips from Bob's Burgers and use Louise's voice actress. Oh gosh, I'm completely blanking on her name. I feel really bad. As Hazel's voice, so I kind of mentally picture it sounding very similar to that now. And if I were oh so lucky to ever reach the point of it turning into a TV show and then also having the extreme luck to be able to work with that actress, she would definitely be my first choice. And I haven't really thought about Griff's character too much because I've heard a lot of different voices where I'm like, yeah, that would fit. Nick Miller for Griff. Yeah, Nick Miller was definitely a heavy inspiration for when I first started making the character, so that would be really cool. Okay, so they eat meat in canon, so who are they eating? Yeah, they eat birds and fish. Birds and fish are not sentient. They are the exact same as we have them, you know, in real life. So they farm and they fish. They don't eat each other. We're not doing that. Because the Beastars version of what they did creeped me out, and the BoJack version of that society, and how they get meat creatures is also freaky. So I went with the least freakiest option I could think of, which is simply that they're not sentient, and it's the same as us eating fish and chicken in our society. I remember saying The Bones by Maren Morrison Hosier was my non-canon theme song for Graycove, but I'm curious what your choice of a theme song would be. Good question. I don't think or I probably have heard that song, I'm just having a hard time picturing it right now. I haven't really thought of any specific already made song, but I was always kind of picturing, like no lyrics, but something sounding kind of similar to Fox in the Field from Fantastic Mr. Fox. You have a very soft, soothing voice. Thank you. That's probably something very good to have for doing live streams. I was told the same thing at my old job, funny enough, when I was answering a phone. Later on, that same customer came in and they're like, hello, I was talking to someone with a very soft, soothing voice on the phone. I was like, oh, okay. Great. wrote that before Jack was confirmed to be older than Griff. Jack actually is not older than Griff. They're the same age because they are twins. Well, triplets, I guess. They have a triplet sister. She hasn't been seen in Graycove yet. Canis lupus vulpus vulpus. Yeah, I love that scene from Fantastic Mr. Fox. It's so cool. I can totally see myself getting the wolf with its fist up pose as like a small tattoo. We need to see more of Macon in the series. He's definitely on the list of my top 5 favorite characters in Graycove. Yeah, we might see more of him. I was thinking of doing one of those, like, day in the life of comics for Macon. Kind of just show him, you know, puttering around his shop and making food and stuff. And, like, he probably will be in future scenes just as, like, you know, the side character because they go into his shop so much. But yeah, he is a very fun background character. Might have been a throwaway character, but I really like the waitress design in the Beak short. Yeah, I was on the fence. Part of me wanted to have her working in Macon's shop as like another, similar to Macon, just like side character that they interact with occasionally. Or if not there, then working at the, I think it's called the Tipsy Tiger. I only show it in one small panel on one of the chapters. The Beak short should be canon. It feels so accurate for a fox raised by deer. Yeah, honestly, I might make that one canon, like, just the fact that he was raised eating beak and probably other things that you're not supposed to eat simply because Herb and Daisy wouldn't have known any better, and, like, they're doing their best. But the idea of it is pretty funny. I don't know why, but sometimes I read Griff's line in my mind as John Wick. That's hilarious. Keanu Reeves as Griff, actually. Yeah. If this, in a magical universe far, far in the future where this actually gets picked up by some producer or studio, I don't know, just being like, no, we refuse to make this unless Keanu Reeves is on board. Jamie Lee Curtis is Hazel. Just the entirety of John Wick, but with the characters of Graycove. Who are they avenging the death of? Because I've only seen the first John Wick movie, but it was because they killed his puppy, I believe. So who are they avenging in this huge rampage? How far in advance do you plan the story a chapter ahead? Do you write notes with ideas when they pop in your head throughout your day? Yeah, we're at like book 4 in terms of mental planning, and we're only 5 chapters into book 1. So we think really, really far ahead. Daisy, because Daisy the dog died. Was his dog's name Daisy? I don't remember very much of the film, if I'm being honest. But that would be a crazy coincidence. Glad you're passionate about the lore. Yeah, we have a lot of planned ideas and concepts and stuff, a lot of which we probably won't have the time to actually do, but are really fun to have in mind when we're planning everything and thinking everything over. That is the waitress from Meek. I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of blanking on who Mad Pat is. I think I know who it is. But I'm terrible at remembering names, especially of channels. Yeah, so saying the game theory guide doesn't clear it up very much for me, to be honest. I recognize the name, but I'm not picturing a face. I like Ashley and Nicole's rendition of Zubul from The Amazing Digital Circus. I think a slightly higher pitched or upbeat version of her voice would work well for Hazel. Oh, that guy. I haven't actually watched Amazing Digital Circus, but I've heard really good things about it, and I keep meaning to watch it. Because I've had multiple people tell me it's good. So I will one of these days, but I'll have to take your word for it for now. It's well made and very depressing. Yeah, sounds up my alley then. I had a traumatic experience with the Amazing Digital Circus. Gummy was my favorite. Okay, so I'm guessing Gummy dies. What time is it in Canada time zone? I know it depends. Yeah, it depends on where you are. Where I am, it's almost 7:30. And I was worried the same would happen to Griff. Yeah, we'll say it now. We don't currently have plans on fully killing off any of the main characters. He will go through his own struggles, obviously, as any character does in a piece of fiction. But yeah, nothing horribly too dark. Like, I'm not even joking when I say I was losing sleep, so worried about Graycove. Aw, that's sweet. Yes, if it makes all of you guys feel better, we don't currently have plans to kill off main characters. It'll be interesting to see more of the Graycove characters in canon outside of the shorts. Yeah, I wish I could draw faster and get the pages out to you guys quicker than I'm able to, but yeah, 1 page a week is the max I'm capable of right now. Graycove is one of the 2 jobs that I currently have. So unfortunately right now it only gets half of my time, or probably more than half if we're being honest. But yeah, we'll keep on trucking. Okay, we're on the last one now. And hopefully everything will look good once we play it all back. If you touch the Chaos Fox, I will cry. We have a very interesting story arc in mind for Russell later on. You know, not so much in like the first major story arc, but we don't have any plans on harming Russell. Right now anyways, that could always change. I can see a situation where Russell gets in over his head in a scheme and Hazel and Griff have to rescue him. Absolutely. I think that is something that I could foresee happening more than once. Or he dies and Doom music starts up in the background with Hazel just ripping tearing. Yeah, she would definitely do some real damage if that ever happened. There are not very many things that can make Hazel lose her temper, but messing with her brother is definitely one of them. I think I'd enjoy writing out a story, I just don't know which medium I'd want to start drafting concepts for yet. Yeah, that's always the tricky part. I find sketchbooks can be great for when I'm first starting making concepts for stuff, so like I'm sure there are plenty of really old Graycove sketches in some of my old books. But yeah, once they get to a certain stage, then I switch everything over to digital or as much as I can, because I find that's an easier way to keep track of everything instead of just having loose papers everywhere and like it can be a real mess. was the last one, so let's turn off all of these old rough sketches. Just so many. And see how he looks. Okay. Not terrible. I definitely have some notes. Like the one leg is cutting through the tail. I had a few frames there because I must have gotten confused. The little patch on his belly moves around a little too much. I definitely need to fix that up a bit. And I think, yeah, the fur pattern on the back of his neck blinks out for one of those frames. And the one on top of his head is moving back and forth a little bit. But you know what? This is all very, very fixable. So not too bad. And I'm gonna take just a quick break here just to rehydrate because I can already feel my throat starting to dry up. And I will be right back. Hello, I am back. Thank you for your patience. And I just saw your message. Okay, I need to check if my partner who refused to pick a pen name was updated, or maybe it was a reference to someone else. So Jasper is the person mentioned. It'll be updated, I think, with the next one going up. If not, then next week. Because with Webtoon, I have to have them scheduled 96 hours in advance, I believe. So if I had already scheduled a post and then he picked the pen name, then, you know, we have to wait for it to update it. Okay, so we need to fix this belly patch, and honestly, I think I'm just gonna start from scratch, delete all of them, restart that specifically, because having to go back and forth on a bunch of them would honestly just get really annoying. So, let's get started. Actually, okay, this one is a good pose. Get rid of this one. Actually, no. Yeah, okay, we're gonna get rid of all of them. It'll just be easier that way. Okay. So that is good, and now we will fix this. We're gonna make a new layer. Go Griff. Question: despite the story being primarily told revolving around Hazel, occasionally flips, like switching to Griff's perspective in the start of chapter 5. Is there any specific reason for this? Just as a storytelling device, honestly. Like, we're gonna have a chapter that's... it's not gonna be super long, but it is gonna be just from Griff's point of view. Mostly showing, like, his life at home kind of thing. So yeah, the series does mostly revolve around Hazel, but she's not the only character in the story, and it's a good way for us to show, you know, different points of view and all that kind of stuff. Kind of build everything up a little bit more. Belly patch. Add. And if I somehow ever manage to finish this animation for a future stream, we might look at rigging or something, which is making the electronic puppets that you use for 2D animation. But I'm on the fence because it can be a massive headache to do. Okay, let's turn it like this. Let's have this one like this. Can we get first person perspective uppies for Russell? Who's giving him uppies? Graycove chapter 842, just told from the perspective of a big bird eating everyone in a cast. Yeah, that's gonna be how we end the series. We're done with this. All of them are dead. Eaten by birds. So tragic. Right, sorry, bird singular. Hey Flood, thanks for joining us. We're just in the middle of fixing Griff's belly patch, because it was no good. I don't know how it got so messed up, but oh well. I guess this pose we don't really see anything. I can skip ahead. Just wait, in the future you could have Graycove coffee shops or cafe. That would be crazy. Anytime I think of any form of Graycove taking off more than it, you know, already has with YouTube and everything, the idea is borderline just insane to me. You know, it's hard to think of, I guess, as a concept. Okay, if that did not fix it, I am going to be upset. Immediately better. Awesome. Okay. Okay, what other issues can I spot? Ah, right. The neck fluff disappears for exactly 1 frame. Which one is it? Oop, well there's that. No good. Fixed. can see Graycove as an animated series. That would be pretty cool. We were literally watching Graycove being animated. Did anyone forget that? Good point. Not quite to the same level as a full animated series. We're just doing some walk cycles. If you wanted me to fully animate Graycove, I think I'd be doing that into my, 90s. Okay. Turn that off. There we go. Okay, not too bad. It technically is an animated series. It's just got one episode. It's like 3 minutes long. Yeah, I guess that's true. I did make my short film, and it took me 6 months to make those 3 minutes. So, if you're willing to wait another 100 years or so for a pilot episode. Okay. On top of the head, part of his marking. I think this one's the issue. Let's see if this fixes it. Just give this a little scooch down. Okay. Not too bad. There still is a slight jitter to it. But overall, I'm pretty happy. Oh, and I just gotta fix. There it is. No leg. There we go. I saw a short on Marshall's portfolio. Question for Jasper. Oh, right. I completely forgot I made the close-up horrible shot of Hazel's face. That was a school assignment. We had to do like an extreme perspective shot, and I was like, well, I already have these 2 rigs, and one is already monstrously tall, and the other one is horribly short, so that already writes itself. But doing the shot of her like super close up, I absolutely hate it. It's so weird looking. But it was for school and I got an okay grade. At least not the generational trauma concept art. That's what I think asked about. Did you come up with the generational trauma one? I thought I did. I don't know about that. But I also don't remember, so I can't claim was fully my idea either. Oh gosh, I just realized that this stripe on his back is going all over the place. Okay. I think the markings in general still need a bunch of touch-ups, but overall it's not too bad. So I think for now I'm gonna start doing the final line art. I'm just gonna avoid adding in the markings. I'll do that last after everything's been kind of cleaned up. So let's get started. When did you change Hazel's head design, and was there any particular reason for the change? Yeah, a big part of it was how I was told to create the character rig. So when you're making a character rig, obviously a human is the easiest way to go when you're making a face, because it's literally just a big circle, oval, square, whatever, with 2 eyes, nose, mouth. Easy peasy. When you're doing an animal character like these ones, now you're getting into like a snout and the big ears and all these extra like bits you have to add on. So when you're doing a muzzle, it can get really difficult to create the rig because the mouth has to be kind of like inside of it. So they recommended to me to basically just make her head one big oval with like a little dimple for where her eyebrow would be, and to kind of just put a mouth on top of the like circular snout shape that she would have. So it was just for like ease of animation. I kind of wish, looking back, that I had done the more difficult thing and like made a full like bottom jaw, top jaw, and like mouth that kind of cuts into that. And if I do want to remake her rig at some point so that I can make it the way I wanted to when I was in school, but like honestly, there wasn't enough time. It was the first thing that we were taught to rig, and like even that class, they had to really rush it. They brought in someone who does it professionally for work, and he was a wonderful teacher, but he was trying to teach an entire classroom worth of people to make completely different rigs. So yeah, that's one reason why this style kind of changed. It's also just once you start drawing a character over and over and over again, the art style can kind of evolve and shift while you're working without really realizing it. So like she looks kind of different in chapter 1 versus the current chapter, and eventually I would like to go back and update the first chapter, but yeah. So I hope that answered your question. I got kind of lost in it there. Okay. I've seen her head look more like a football like in earlier iterations. And then there's the more modern one that we have now. Yeah, so the football look was heavily because of the class that I was in and, you know, trying to make a character that's easier to animate. But I'm not really animating her right now beyond her walk cycle, so I just draw her the way I like to draw her. I'd love to see a matriarch speed paint. Yeah, me too, that would be cool. I was thinking of doing a like human version of the matriarch. Similar to the Hazel one that I made. But I just haven't had the time. Okay, I think I'm missing one of my little controllers here. Control panel? No. In settings? Yes, there it is. There we go. We just want to put a stabilizer on so the lines aren't so shaky. Yeah, nice and smooth. She looks good either way. Well, that's good. I'm not doing the markings. Let's give us a little more space here. Oh, also, how is your snake doing? He's doing good. He's getting big. He's growing fast. They grow until they're about 3 years old. And he is 2.5, I believe. Because his date of birth, or I guess hatching, I don't know, is in April. We don't have a specific day, because most of the time they kind of just hatch in whatever tub the eggs are being stored in, and then they find them like a day or two later. But yeah, he's getting to be a big boy. We're gonna need a new tank soon for him. Big snake friend, yeah. If he wasn't so squirmy, I'd have him on my shoulders while I'm working on the stream here, but I'd have to stop more often than I already do just to readjust him or stop him from going behind my screen or something. He's been eating his spaghetti. Yeah. I have a very sleepy kitty cuddled in my arms while I try to type. That sounds cute. I really like cats. I've never had one before, and I'd like to have one day, but the place where we currently live isn't the most cat friendly. Just in that, like, we have a lot of shelves and stuff that would be really easy to knock over. And you know, we don't have a ton of disposable income in case there are any vet emergencies, stuff like that, so it wouldn't be the best option for that cat, you know? Okay, I'm down 15 more to go, I think. My friend is trying to convince me to play Silk Song. Yeah, I only just tried Hollow Knight a little while ago, and it was very fun. And I'd like to keep playing, but I also am the worst person when it comes to games where it's, you know, pretty easy to die, like in Hollow Knight. I get frustrated so fast. Remember dying is gay. Yeah, that doesn't help. We're already on the LGBTQ list. Saying it like that kind of makes it sound like they're coming after us like we're on a hit list, but you know what I mean. Remember dying is straight then. No, that's a threat. Just the other day I died in Minecraft to a normal skeleton. I was wearing full enchanted netherite. How? What setting were you on? Same, I'm the B in LGBTQ. Hell yeah, dude. Samesies. Yeah, that's true. We are also part of the plus part. Oh no, Luke, you on normal mode? That's rough, buddy. But you also beat the Wither and Bedrock without dying, so yeah, I feel like that definitely evens it out. I definitely have not gotten that accomplishment, but to be fair, I mostly play in like creative. So I can't really talk any smack, you know? Oof, actually, I do not like this. Let's fix this. There, that's better. Does his brother not use a shield? I don't use a shield in any game unless I'm absolutely have to. I hate having a shield in a game. It covers part of the screen usually and it's annoying. I would rather die. Thanks for joining us, Alexander. Hopefully we can see you again next time. Even though I'm a builder, I have the redstone capacity of a stick of butter. I feel that I am terrible when it comes to anything redstone. I should probably get rid of these nose lines too if I'm going to be fixing up the patterns later. I did a replica of the wolf den in my village. I'm planning on doing a replica of the red deer house too. That's pretty sick. That's very cool. I've tried making Graycove in a couple of different like building games, but none of them quite had exactly what I wanted, so I kept getting frustrated with it and giving up pretty fast. The closest I got was in the game Enshrouded. I started trying to make like all of Graycove because I'm crazy and I didn't want to just start with one, but unfortunately the most recent updates have made the game a little too beefy for my laptop and what it can handle, so I can't really play it anymore. But yeah, if you haven't played it, Enshrouded is so fun to build in. to build Graycove just based on vibes in Minecraft because I don't think we have a map. There is kind of a map. At the end of the first chapter, you get kind of a wide shot of Graycove. It's not all of it, obviously, but like it does show quite a big chunk of it. Yeah, and like there's the scene of, well, actually it's the backdrop of my screen here. And that has some of the buildings. You can kind of see the style of everything. Obviously it doesn't show everything, it's just showing one shot, but sounds kind of like fan art. Yeah, we're always happy to see fan art as long as it's not like, you know, inappropriate or anything like that. Like Luke made a very cute drawing a while ago that we got to see through YouTube, and that made us really, really happy. Yeah, exactly. Just what Jasper said. We do not like to see not safe for work fan art and hope to never see any of it. uh, but like, yeah, sort of like the one on DeviantArt. That one brings great upset. We don't like that one very much. Uh, but, you know, if it's just something like just some cute drawings of the characters, go for it, you know? I updated that drawing after I confirmed that Jasper was the one you drew in the Chapter 5 update. Oh, that's cute. Yeah, because I think before he was a circle with an M in the middle, which was really, really funny. Well, that's cool. Yeah, our eyes will also never heal from that, Lando. I'd show you the doodle I attempted of Hazel and Griff if I could. Yeah, that would be cool. It's a little hard when you're in a chat that doesn't let you send pictures. If you tag me on Instagram or something, if you end up posting it anywhere, then I will see it. Hey, Dr. Dro. Thanks for joining us. We're just in the middle of cleaning up Griff's walk cycle. All this art talk, I feel like I should give a disclaimer that the deer in my comic named Marshall is not the nicest person, but I genuinely don't mean anything with that. Yeah, don't worry about it. I won't be offended. Hey, Penguin Slap. Thank you for the donation. It's always appreciated. Oh, you gotta go now. Thanks for joining us, Luke. We'll see you next time. Did I remember his belly patch? Yeah, okay. I keep forgetting we're gonna do touch-ups on all the markings on his face and neck, so we're not drawing them in. I keep drawing them in. My bad. Hear me out, Griffin Hazel, but Resident Evil 2. God, that's a terrifying thought. Can't remember the specifics of Resident Evil 2. I know I've watched gameplay videos for a lot of them. But my memory is pretty hazy. It's been quite a while. Memory's pretty hazel. Police station, zombies, puzzle, secret lab, underground, stop, bad guys. Basically. Okay, fair enough. I think that might be one that I haven't actually watched then. I think I've watched mostly the later ones. Because I remember like the farmhouse one that is really, really gory. And the one with the super tall vampire lady. Wow, I actually managed to catch the stream. Well, welcome. Thank you for joining us. I'm glad you could make it. Hazel is Lady Dimitrescu. I am probably saying that wrong for Halloween because tall. That'd be funny. I'm kind of just picturing her in like a super baggy looking dress because like she's not wide enough for the dress, and a silly sun hat. My posture watching this is horrible. Please pray for my back. Yeah, I'm fully doing the classic artist shrimp pose while I'm working on this. It's hard not to. I'm folded like a shrimp on my phone. Yeah, I'm folded like a shrimp just trying to draw. Graycove Crossing would be a hit, like Animal Crossing, because yeah, very similar vibes and cuteness, I guess. The dad from Coraline type posture. Yeah, I feel like anytime my partner comes home when I'm mid-art drawing and doing stuff, I just look like the dad from Coraline. We actually have always wanted to make a video game. Yeah, that's true. I made a rig for a little goblin guy. Because we had an idea for a game where you play as this little goblin guy who's missing one of his arms, and you get tools throughout the game that you can connect like a prosthetic. So you switch them out. So I made a rig of him, and I rigged up a like a little arm cannon and a few other things, I think. Show goblin guy. Does everyone else want to use, or does everyone else want to see goblin guy? I might be able to find him in my files. No, user account is fine. It's saved on my hard drive, I believe. It would take me a minute to find him. Okay, let's see if I can find... Let me see if I can find the goblin guy. Just a moment. I wonder if it's in the folder I titled Rigs in all caps. Okay, let's see if... Hey, there he is. Goblin guy. Gosh, I made this so long ago. So yeah, it's a fully working rig as far as I'm aware. I think I animated a few things with him. So, you know, things can move around. Eyelids can open, shut. I gave him a eye underneath this one even though it stays shut. I think I gave him different mouth poses. Yep. Yeah. Cute little guy. But yeah, if you ever wonder what goes into making a rig, this is what goes into making a rig. Ah, right, so here's the arm cannon. Yeah, all of this is just for his legs. All of this mess is just for his arms and his chest. All of this is just for a hat. Hair, eyes, face. So yeah, rigging is a lot of work. But yeah, it can be kind of fun. So I might do that on stream at some point in the future and remake like a Hazel and Russ rig maybe. But we'll close that for now. Pretty sure his background is he got so hungry he ate his arm off. Which I'm pretty sure would end up not giving you any of the energy from eating said food because your body would end up using so much extra energy just trying to heal yourself from bleeding out. Bro just wanted an upgrade. Griff is walking like a Sigma. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what that means. That's strange. I think opening that might have messed with my settings just a little bit. But that is okay. Oh well. Like an alpha male but less aggro. Ah, okay. I mean, I was trying to give him just like a focused walk, I guess. Me. So is 3 hours the limit you make streams, give or take? Yeah, about that. We're probably gonna end a little bit sooner tonight, just because I'm gonna help Jasper with some of his studying, because he has a test tomorrow, and we don't want to be up super duper late having to do that. So we're probably gonna wrap up around 9, so in about 15 minutes. Which is good because I messed up my pen settings somehow, and I'm gonna have to mess around with the program to unmess it up. But for now we can keep working. Yeah, Will Goblin Guy strikes again, messing up my pen settings. Classic him. I do not like this here. Let's fix that. Yeah, to be fair, I'll probably do fine on the test without studying, but fine isn't good enough because I must be better than everyone else or I'll die of embarrassment. Yeah, I get like that too. We both get like that. I was like that all throughout college. I had to have perfect grades in every single class. Or else I would just, you know, get really mad at myself. I always wanted to have perfect projects and everything. Alright, gotta go. Nice, thanks for joining us, Dr. Dro. Have a good rest of your night. I'm gonna head out. Thank you for a lovely stream. Thanks for joining us, Norse Horse. Always nice to see ya. Have a good rest of your evening. At some point I should probably also draw in his ear fluffs. There's only a few frames where they'd actually be in view, like this one here. But I'll probably do that when I go in and fix the markings and get them moving around a little smoother. Maybe it's just me, but I don't like real or synthetic fur on anything plush like a pillow. It makes it more itchy than comfortable for me. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. To be fair, I have very specific like sensory issues when it comes to my skin. So I'm really particular about fabrics. But yeah, I agree, most like faux fur things are really scratchy. That like long plastic fuzzy stuff particularly really bugs out my skin. Sandpaper bed and stone pillow is the best sleep. I don't know about that, but to each their own. Every November through February, I'm allowed to get Thorn's blanket. Oh my gosh. If Hazel had a gun, what gun would suit her? I don't think Hazel would be good with any kind of firearm. We made a joke in the previous page that she had failed her archery test. And like, if you go back and look at one of the pages, when you see the outside of the guard barracks, you can see an arrow sticking in like this brick wall really high up, super far away from the target. And like, we didn't say it anywhere, but in my mind, she put that there. And the guards immediately went, okay, so no bows for Hazel. So I think she also would not get gun. That's a great bit of character lore for Hazel. Yeah, I think so too. She's not good with any kind of ranged weapon, I think. And Griff, is he certified to carry? No, technically none of them are certified to carry because there wouldn't be any guns within, Graycove, the town. Any guns that would hypothetically exist within the comic would be from human society. So whether or not guns become a thing in the future is up in the air, and we're not gonna confirm or deny. Certified to carry bow and arrow, though. Yeah, I think he would be certified with every kind of weaponry that the guards would have. He would have a preference for one, so like he has his axe that he carries in the previous chapter. But I think with his dad being who he is, he would have been trained on how to use every single one as an option. Russell would carry a bow anyways. Yeah, Russell doesn't care about the law. Okay, so this pen issue is really making me annoyed, and this is about the time that we were gonna stop anyways. So I think we're gonna call it a night. I'm gonna try and fix this pen and finish up at least the line art at some point soon here. But for now I will say goodnight to you all, and I hope you all get to check out the page that comes up tomorrow. It'll be up at 11:30 PST, and if you're a member on Coffee, then you get to see the page even after that. Or the next page after that, I should say. But have a good night.